Troubleshooting Accordance. This podcast is at the basic level. It requires no knowledge of Accordance Bible software, Hebrew, or Greek. No matter how good a piece of software is, there are some days when nothing goes right. The software crashes, it freezes, it fizzles, or it goes kaput, or even kerplunk. That's even true of Accordance. Never fear, our Accordance team is here to help you. Before we discuss the specifics of troubleshooting Accordance, we have 2 tips we'd like to share with all Accordance users, whatever platform you happen to be using. The first is to update the application regularly. All our updates are free for every platform. Our programmers work very hard to eliminate known bugs, improve users' experience, and add additional features. Updating regularly ensures you can take advantage of their efforts, and that is the first step to staying hassle-free. For those of you with Accordance Desktop, the second tip, we'd like to encourage you to upgrade to the latest version. Upgrades, which are available at a modest price, occur about every 2 years and include new features and numerous fixes and improvements. Your financial support also enables us to make continual improvements. Accordance Desktop. If Accordance starts slowing down, first make sure the problem doesn't lie elsewhere. Here are 4 steps to take before troubleshooting the Accordance application. First, if you're working on a laptop and running on battery power, check its level. If the battery is low, plug the laptop in, then turn off any energy-saving settings that are still in effect. Second, see what other apps are running. Quit any that seem to be using large chunks of processing power or memory. Browsers running Facebook and other video feeds are common culprits. Use Force Quit, macOS, or Task Manager, Windows, if necessary. Third, quit and restart Accordance. And fourth, quit all applications, then restart the computer. Launch Accordance first after restarting. Done all 4 and you're still having issues? Then let's troubleshoot Accordance itself. Accordance Desktop has a new Safe Mode startup that offers easy fixes for many common problems. To launch Accordance in Safe Mode, Mac users need to press the Option or Alt key while simultaneously clicking the application icon. Windows users will need to press and hold the Alt key immediately after clicking the App button. Accordance will launch and display this dialog box. Here's what each of these choices do and the issues they're designed to fix. Now, if you run into issues later and don't happen to have this podcast handy, remember that clicking the Help button will provide more information. The first section, User Content, addresses issues that may keep Accordance from launching properly. There are 3 options. Select the one that best describes your issue, or try each in turn. First, remove Startup Session. Select this item if Accordance is crashing on startup. It deletes the startup session. Second, temporarily disable highlights. This option may also resolve a crash on startup, or a crash when scrolling to a particular part of a text or tool. Third, temporarily disable user notes. Try this option if neither of the above items solve crashes on startup. It may also resolve a crash when scrolling to a particular part of a text or tool. The second section is Settings. We advise our customers not to use this section until after speaking with technical support. The reason is that each option removes all custom settings for a particular group. If you spend a lot of time customizing Accordance, skip this section and try the others first. With that said, here's what each of these options do. Remove General Settings. This item will potentially solve a variety of odd issues, but you will have to reset many of your Accordance preferences. Rebuild Text Settings. This item may solve issues related to the display of certain texts. You will have to manually restore your library arrangement and display settings for all texts. And Rebuild Tool Settings. This item may solve issues related to the display of certain tools. You will have to manually restore your library arrangement and display settings for all tools. The third section is Connectivity. Try these 2 items if the app is crashing on startup or crashes when no other action is occurring, like just reading text. The items in this section temporarily disable certain Accordance preferences to determine if these items are affecting Accordance's proper function. Restarting Accordance in normal mode will re-enable these settings unless we change them first in Accordance preferences. The first item, Disable Automatic Dropbox Sync, temporarily disables synchronization of your Accordance user files via Dropbox. The second item, Disable Automatic Updates, temporarily disables automatic updates of Accordance resources. The fourth section is Cleanup. It clears various caches and also fixes common font problems. For instance, Clear Library Cache may resolve a crash when searching the library, slow library searches, or incorrect library search results, used after a module update to update library results. Clear Research Cache may resolve a research crash or incorrect research results. The cache can then be rebuilt in Preferences, Reading Research. Clear Cache Downloads removes partial files typically used when resuming Easy Install or check for updates. Clean up installed fonts, macOS only, used when having issues displaying Greek or Hebrew. This removes the Accordance fonts and reinstalls the latest version. Note that this last option is not available on the Windows platform, nor the Mac App Store version. The final section is Uninstall. Use it when you suspect certain kinds of files have become corrupted. Options include Uninstall Atlas, which deletes all Atlas files, including all preferences and user-created layers. Saved workspaces and screenshots are unaffected. Uninstall Timeline deletes all timeline files, including all preferences and user-created items. Saved workspaces or screenshots are not affected. And finally, Uninstall Syntax and other special files deletes all syntax files, diagram files, and interlinear files, including all preferences and user-created items. If none of these steps has cured your problem, it's time to reach out to the Accordance technical support team for help. If you're in the United States, the easiest way is probably to call them during normal business hours at 407-339-0266. If someone doesn't answer, leave your full name, phone number, and a brief message. One of our tech support guys will get back in touch with you. Alternately, try live chat online at accordancebible.com. If it's not during business hours, it may be faster to request help from the technical support folks on the Accordance forums. We have employees in both Korea and Australia, and a very active user group that extends around the world, most of whom are happy to help a fellow user at any time of day or night. Finally, you can also contact technical support via email at support@accordancebible.com. Accordance Mobile. If the issue is with Accordance Mobile on a phone or tablet, we can take similar steps before troubleshooting the app. First, check the battery level on our device. If it's low, plug the device in, then turn off any energy-saving modes that are still in effect. Next, quit and restart Accordance. Third, power down the device, then restart it. Now let's take a look at Accordance Mobile, iOS. If you're on an iPhone or iPad, the next step is to go to Accordance Mobile Settings. We tap Settings, then scroll until we see Accordance. Tap Accordance, and these Accordance settings appear. They all affect application startup. Here's what each of them does. Remove Save Session. Use this if Accordance Mobile fails to launch. It removes a corrupted session. Clear Download Cache. Use this if we're unable to complete Easy Install, updates, or sync. It removes the temporary folders used for these procedures. Reset User Content we use if we suspect file corruption. It deletes all currently installed user notes, user tools, and highlight files. If any of these files are synced with Dropbox, Accordance forgets their status, and the next Dropbox sync will reinstall the content from the Dropbox folder. Reset Spotlight Indexes. We use this if Spotlight fails to return results of a topic or reference search. It resets its indexes. And finally, Reset Interlinear Settings. We use this if experiencing crashes when adjusting interlinear items. It deletes the customization information from the interlinear database. All of these settings apply to the next restart of the app, then default back to off. There's one more common issue we'd like to address for iOS users. Have you tried to sync Accordance on your mobile device with your computer and seen this notice? Not sure what to do? It has perplexed some of our users, so here's the inside scoop. This message appears when we start to sync on a mobile device before clicking Sync with Mobile Device on our computer. Now that is the correct sequence, so all we have to do is to go to our computer, choose Sync with Mobile Device, select our device, then click on Connect. The message will disappear and the sync will begin. Most people know how to launch an app on an iOS device, just tap the button. But do you know how to quit an app? The reason I ask is that, after performing any of the fixes we've talked about, you'll need to quit and relaunch Accordance. It's pretty easy. Just double-click the Home button, scroll until you see the Accordance app, then flick it toward the top of the screen. Accordance Mobile for Android has lagged behind the iOS version. That's understandable because we added it significantly later than our iOS app, and because the various Android platforms vary widely. That means we currently have fewer options for troubleshooting issues. Our Android app doesn't use Clear Cache, for example, though this button still appears by default in Android apps. Instead, those of you with significant problems have to use Clear Storage. Some Android versions call this Clear Data. Alas, this action clears all content from Accordance, not just the temporary files. All modules, all preferences, all user settings, highlights, and so on. It leaves only the app, as pristine as if we have just downloaded it. To remove the app as well, use Uninstall. However, there may be a better alternative to both of these actions, though it requires a bit of patience. That better option is to report the issue on the Accordance Android forum, especially if you have a large library or lots of user preferences. Reporting an issue also helps other users. Our chief Android programmer monitors this forum. If you report a crash or a bug, we'll do our very best to issue an app update ASAP, sometimes within the same day. Now, you won't be able to use the app in the meantime, but you may decide that waiting is less hassle than downloading everything all over again. Finally, a few Android users have had trouble syncing to DropBox the first time after setting it up. This issue seems to be most common if a person has a slow internet connection. If this happens to you, we suggest clicking the Disconnect button, then click Connect and retry the sync. Do you know how to quit an app on an Android device? Here's how. First, press the Overview button at the bottom to see all currently open apps. The button should look something like a square similar to one of these. Some devices also have it on the bottom left instead of the bottom right. Next, we scroll to Accordance. Now we quit the app. On older devices, we tap the X at the top right of the app. Newer devices also allow us to swipe the app off the screen, either up or to the right. Now, restart Accordance normally. Again, if none of the previous steps has cured your problem, it's time to reach out to the technical support team at Accordance for help. Here are 4 ways to do so. We all hope none of you ever have to use the instructions in this podcast. Still, if something does go wrong, at least you now have the information you need to try to fix it yourself. This has been Dr. J for Accordance Bible Software. Thank you for watching this episode of Lighting the Lamp.